The wish list. Item 24. Alfie woke up in the front seat of the van in a car park on the edge of a little town. Nick was not there. Alfie could see his own breath. The van was cold and the windscreen covered in snow. He got out and stretched. It was still dark and the whole car park was glowing orange, the snow that covered it reflecting the sodium streetlights. Above him was a church on top of a steep hill. He closed the van door, crossed a bridge over a small stream, and started climbing the steps up the hill into the centre of town. Christmas Eve, but not dawn yet, and no one about. The snow under his boots was untouched apart from one set of footprints, which Alfie followed up to a little square. All around, the whole town was still and silent under the snow. There was a medieval market cross, an octagonal arched building covered in finials and carvings. Inside it, Nick Close was sitting, drinking coffee.
"I got you a sausage roll,"
he said as Alfie came in through one of the arches.
"And a coffee."
"Thank you very much," said Alfie, taking it. "I'm surprised anything was open this early."
"There's a market,"
said Nick by way of explanation.
"Christmas Eve, last day of Christmas shopping."
"Last day of present giving," said Alfie. "Last day on the road." Nick did not say anything, but sipped his coffee noisily. "Because we're almost there, aren't we?" said Alfie.
"Almost where?"
said Nick with his sly smile. "I'm not an idiot, Nick," said Alfie. "Even if I didn't have maps on my phone, I can see the sunrise and set. I can tell that for all our darting here and there, we've been heading west this whole time. West, towards Wales, towards the Black Mountains, where, probably coincidentally, your brother lives."
"True,"
was all Nick would say. "All of which I should say I wholeheartedly approve of," said Alfie. "After all, he's entirely off the grid, isn't he? Got his own generator and everything, as I recall. Very sensible place to hide out. Oh, and family. And Christmas. Though I don't suppose you'd be thinking of any of that."
"Still snowing,"
is all Nick would say.
"Better get on."
It was still snowing. They loaded the drones in the car park they had slept in and now drove on, trying to stick to the back roads where possible. But many of them were now dangerously icy or not yet fully cleared of the snowdrifts. Later that morning they rendezvoused with the drones again on the edge of the grounds of some grand house, where two ponies waded down through the snow to watch them, their breath rising in great clouds around them as if they were steam-powered. Just after lunchtime, they pulled into a dell ringed with great bare beeches, from which rooks complained about their intrusion. In the centre of a ring of standing stones, all topped with snow, they loaded the drones one final time, sending them off between the sarsens and the trees with a last load of presents. Finally, as the sun was setting, they passed through a small village where in the darkening afternoon all the shops and houses glowed with fairy lights, and under the porch of the pub a Christmas tree twinkled while the dimpled bow windows danced with the firelight inside. On the outskirts they finally came to a crossroads at the foot of steeply rising hills, where the road divided into narrow country lanes between high hedges piled higher with snow. Every single lane was blocked by snowdrifts. "What now?" said Alfie. "Do we have to go back?"
"That pub looked nice,"
said Nick. "It did. Very seasonal indeed, I thought," said Alfie. "Not a bad place to be snowed in."
"They even have a room booked,"
said Nick.
"All paid for."
"Do they?" said Alfie. "And yet we're sitting here in the freezing cold. And a room, singular. That's for me, is it? You're going on alone, are you?"
"Sorry,"
said Nick.
"Family. Christmas, you know."
"I know," said Alfie.
"It's all right."
"But how? You're going to walk over those hills in this? You'll freeze to death."
"I'll have the heating on," said Nick. "Give me a hand here."
He got out and walked round to the back of the van. All that was left inside were two boxes. One of them was one of the gifts they had been sending out. Alfie picked it up. "Nellie Close," he read from the address label. Present from Uncle Nick, eh?
Never mind that, said Nick. Help me with these.
The other box was bigger and full of tow cables.
We need to thread these under the van, said Nick, pulling them out.
Under? Said Alfie. What are you up to?
Ah, here they come, said Nick, right on time.
Alfie looked up to see the drones coming in down the valley, Rudolph first, as usual, leading the others in. They landed in formation around the van.
Go round the other side.
Nick gestured to Alfie.
Pull the cable through when I pass it. Now, see the hook on the drone? Secure it to that.
Secure the cable to the drone? Alfie suddenly saw what Nick was up to. Oh, no, you're insane.
Not at all,
said Nick from the other side of the van, where he was fiddling with the other drones.
All carefully calculated. Lift of these drones. Weight of this van with one person. Plenty of margin for error.
They fastened the cables, and then Alfie stood back as Nick got into the van. Then the drone engines started up, kicking up a whirl of snow about them. Up they rose, and the cables tightened under them, and with a creaking and lurching that made Alfie start forward for a moment, the van lifted up and then hung perfectly level in the air. Nick wound down the window and leaned out.
You see, he said, carefully calculated.
You're still insane, shouted back Alfie over the noise of the drones.
I know, called back Nick. It's your fault too.
You're welcome, said Alfie. You deserve it.
I'm going to try to, said Nick. Thank you, and Merry Christmas.
And with that, the whine of the drone engines increased, and up the green van rose, with the man with the white beard in the red overalls at the wheel, laughing happily as he was lifted up over the trees and away. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Blitzen, called Alfie after him, laughing himself. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. Up into the snow went the van, disappearing into the grey, swirling sky. Alfie watched him until he had quite gone, and then stood under the mountains as the gathering drifts obscured any evidence that Nick Close had ever been there at all. Merry Christmas to you, you jolly old elf, called Alfie into the gloom. Merry Christmas to all, and to all, a good night.